Tonight's episode is sponsored by Zombie with a Shotgun. Are you guys tired of the same old zombie projects where the humans need to survive the zombie apocalypse, or when the humans fight each other and the story isn't really about the zombies at all? Zombie with a Shotgun is going to be the zombie film where all the rules we know about other zombie films go right out the window. In this zombie film, the zombie will be the hero, and it will have other zombies to help out on the war against the humans. The story follows Aaron, who isn't sure if he is infected with the zombie virus or some other infection. He takes this journey along with his girlfriend Rachel and his shotgun, where they both find out the deep secrets about the zombie virus and their love life. Also sponsored by Preacher 6, offering salvation to the worst kind of people, 6 bullets at a time. Alright, thank you for joining us today, horror movie freaks. I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. Today we're joined by Andy and Chrissy Koontz of the new film Ekimmu, The Dead Lust. So they are the director and you're the producer, correct, Chrissy? Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you very much for being here.
It's actually pronounced Ekimmu.
Ekimmu?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, sorry about that.
No, it's fine. I've had to figure out, just recently I finally figured out the right way to say it. So I just like what it was about, what it was about. So.
Awesome. Well, let's get started then. Just tell us a little bit about the movie and maybe a little premise about the movie or synopsis. Just let our viewers know what it's about.
Well, the synopsis is about this couple. This girl goes off to school. This guy goes to where she is to pick her up from school. A while later, and they find this girl on the highway who's like all bloody, and someone's chasing her from in the woods. And it's a whole story of I guess kind of it slowly divulges kind of what's going on, but it ends up with the girls kind of having a connection, and they don't know why. It's hard because the movie I wrote is nothing like the movie that ended up happening. I mean, I had to cut so much stuff from it to get it to where it's at, so it's hard. The essence of the movie is there's a town that has this curse on it. They've brought it on themselves, and these two girls were murdered, and they've become a part of this town curse, and so they've kind of come from. My idea was they came from like hell in a sense, and but they're not like themselves. They're like a I guess an idea. A lot of the movie is like metaphor, so it's kind of. I mean, it happened because I got sick. It's all of it's kind of a metaphor for things that were going on. A lot of the way it's edited now, it's very a lot faster. I think we shot about 2.5 hours of footage, and I cut it down to 73 minutes. I think our first cut was 2.5 hours of a rough cut. I had like everything in it, and I decided after I got sick that it just worked better. So it's kind of about a lot of things. It does have a linear story, in my opinion. It flows really, really, really good for what I had, and it's kind of about a guy who gets tormented by these. But by what this thing has caused of these girls coming back and killing like men basically, and that's kind of the straight part of it. But there's a lot of like metaphors in the whole thing. It's really not about that to me. It's more about the order how my brain feels and works after having brain cancer. Yeah. And there's a character I wrote, a new character added while in recovery. She's called the Queen Demon. But it's more like the negativity of things I was dealing with. I wrote her while I was in chemo, and we built a set in our house and shot her. So the movie really has taken on a very different form from in 2006 when I was making it, or 2004 when I was making it. 2006 I got diagnosed, and it changed. Everything just.
I guess the original plan for it was to be edited and released in 2006, and it just would have been totally different. So in a way, I mean, we kind of look at it now as like, gosh, we hate to say we're glad for brain cancer, but because man, it was awful. But in a way, it's like it's really kind of it's totally different, and it's exciting, and the Queen Demon part was, like I just thought it was just such a cool. I mean, when he first told me about it, I was like, how is that going to really translate on screen? I mean, when you have a limited budget, you kind of are like, well, we'll give it a try, you know, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But it's like it really, you feel her energy, and it's just creepy.
Oh, yeah.
She's creepy.
Oh yeah. I thoroughly enjoyed the movie, so
Oh, good,
it's
good.
yeah. I can't wait for everybody else to get a chance to see it. So
Awesome.
thank you for
Awesome.
letting us screen it. We really appreciate that. And try not to. There's a lot of stuff I wanted to talk about it, but I just don't want to give too much away. So let's go back just a little bit, and just so the audience can get to know you a little bit more. What made you want to get into filmmaking?
Oh, I ever since I was a little kid, I was always, my mom had a little Super 8 I'd play with. I didn't have a clue as a kid what a film was really in that way. I grew up on Star Wars. I grew up in the States and was in a very Christian home, and I'm still a Christian, but there's a lot of stuff I wasn't exposed to because my mom and my family was in a really strict, like, only listen to Christian music. So there's a lot of things that as I grew up, I kind of realized were there's out there, like art, sounds, and movies and stuff. And I grew up watching movies anytime I could. Star Wars. I just watched Cloak and Dagger today. It was one of the first like movies as a kid I remember really connecting with, and I don't know, saw stuff like that. And as I got older, there's a lot of things that went on, but movies were always kind of like something I was into, music and movies. And that's how you might want to this way a little bit.
But that's his first, I guess, film that he shot with some videos. Were these really cool? I mean, I thought they were cool, but it was just really cool, like.
Oh, the Prowler.
But it was just like real. It was like it was shooting and editing as he's going, shooting. Because there wasn't, he didn't have the equipment to do anything other than that.
The Prowler thing was when I was before I met her.
Yeah. No,
I would make these little movies with my friends and use like Ketchup for Blood, and they'd be little tiny
cool,
short.
It was just, you could see
all shoot to edit,
ideas.
not actually doing anything with the footage, just shooting each piece and moving on. And
yeah, it was
like,
cool.
It was they're bad. They're hilarious.
Good.
They're hilarious. And then I was in a band for a while, an indie band, and I just kind of felt like, well, I've kind of been doing this a while. I want to try making a movie. And so I had a friend who had a camera, and we shot a first short film called Them Damn Zombies together with a bunch of friends.
I like the title.
It was like rednecks versus zombies, kind of silly.
But it was a group of people camping out on a weekend.
We thought we'd do something for fun, and this would be hilarious to look back on, and we never thought we'd ever put it out to let anybody see it. It was just something we did for fun. We were killing time, and then someone told us we should send it to someone and put it in a festival, and
some
people
really
started
liked
liking it. And okay.
It's funny because it's always, the idea of it I think is so fun, and I really do think that if it became a feature film, and because it's just a short.
Oh,
but
and there were lots of people who hated it also.
Oh, sure.
It's just like, you go online and look it up. People just thought it was so stupid.
And it's funny because people are like, oh, it's like.
But it was my first time making anything, and
it was over the weekend, and it was all
we took the makeup
non-actors.
that was left from that and made another zombie film called Zombie Dawn, and bought some gas masks and tried to make it look all military. And it's the same house. It's in Ekimmu. That was the house we lived in for a while.
Yeah.
Use what you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We tried to find another house, but I was like, I had done like a bunch of remodeling on it, and I was like, it looks so cool, and not that it looks anything like this, but in like some like Dario Argento's movies where there's like really unique architecture and stuff, I kind of designed all that tile on there all over the house like that, and for that reason. And I wasn't even thinking about shooting the movie. I just wanted our house to look like that. And then I was like, this house looks cool. It's the way it's
Could really work,
shaped and
yeah.
stuff. I just shoot it here. I know it. So we lived upstairs in our attic for the shoot when we shot in the house.
Yeah.
Pretty much all the stuff in the house.
And we met at a movie theater, so it doesn't surprise me that it was just sort of natural. I mean, we just both love movies. I mean, growing up, that was just a lot of movies were watched.
She worked at a movie theater. That's how I met her.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I mean, it was kind of just a natural progression for us to then just start shooting. But he gets, when he first started writing Ekimmu, I remember it was, I mean, it's the same kind of thing. He gets these ideas, and it's just like, how is that? I mean, like, I know I believe in you. I know you have this vision for it, and you're gonna make it happen because that's him. But it just, there's a lot of really neat stuff about it that just translate really well on screen. And with such a limited budget, it's, if it would be fun to really make it with, of course, a big budget, but he does a great job. I mean, I'm a fan. I'm also his wife. I get all that, but I appreciate. I mean, I really see his talent for the vision of the movie, and it's fun.
Oh.
So
Yeah, I've always been a fan of indie films because I like. I got into filmmaking for a while. Sadly, I did a couple little short, like 3 and 5 minute movies that there might still be floating around YouTube somewhere. I'm not really sure, but I don't think they ever got more than like 6 views. But
Cool.
ever since then, I mean, I had the camera. I went all out. We were planning on doing a feature film, and it never worked for us. So I've just really always been into indie films because I like seeing what people can do with such a low budget.
right.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think
exactly.
where it really started for me was just being a kid and watching movies, and I think movies like E.T. and stuff like that were like really impactful to me. That like you could make a movie like this and make it seem that believable and that genuine. My mom would take me like all kinds of movies when I was a kid, but I remember staying in the theater because we missed the very beginning of it. We stayed in the theater and waited to watch the beginning again, and just having seen all that, it was like that movie I think really like impacted me pretty heavy on the whole just wanting to make a movie that it's kind of big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I realize that, but I mean just the fact that's possible as a kid.
That you could
Star Wars stuff like
story
that.
of it, yeah.
And although I'm not really, I mean, if I met someone who did effects, I'd be into digital effects, but if it was proper, but I really don't care about like visual effects a whole lot, so even I see more like what it took to make that, and that's I think that's how a lot of films are for me.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of practical effects because I've always liked doing FX and stuff like that, working with fake blood. I got into doing like the latex for doing like making molds of limbs and things like that, and it was so much fun. And Tom Savini was basically one of my idols for the longest time.
Oh yeah.
So I've always liked the practical effects. I've tried doing some stuff with like special effects and everything, but I never did add anything like that to either one of the little short films I did, and I didn't plan on using them in the feature film that I hope to one day do. We'll see if that ever turns out. But yeah, I've just always loved the thing. So it sounds like we're a lot alike in that aspect.
Well, I'd say too, I mean, the thing about, having it's very much in this same kind of a light. Like, it's been years since he started making this movie, but you just don't stop. You just don't give up on it.
He wants to be on camera in it.
That's fine. That's fine. He can be a star.
You are a star, but you just keep pushing forward, and you just keep oh my God.
Lay down.
Sit.
Lay down.
Okay, you can sit on the slab.
He is a beautiful dog.
But really, I think that ultimately you just don't give up on it, and you just keep, because even if you're just working on it a little bit here or there, cause one of the things that I know was pretty haunting for for Andy when he got sick was he was in bed for 3 years, and so he couldn't work on the movie, but it never left.
No, it was on my mind like constantly, like while I was sick. Not like in like a, I don't know, kind of hard to work that hard on something and then just be like it could possibly just be gone, you know, and that's all.
Yeah.
And if I die, who's gonna really take the time to put this together? And how will they do it?
And that's just it.
And so,
yeah.
Well, then at one point it was, I think I can finish what I made, but I feel like the purpose and the meaning is no longer quite the same. And so I decided to add a new character to kind of change some of the story.
I got to see something that was kind of funny. So Andy doesn't ever write anything down. He had all these ideas in his head for how he was going to edit it. So when we were filming, how he was going to edit it, how he was going to put it together. He's like, right here, I'm going to do this and this and this. But, I mean, it's all in his head. So we were like, okay, you know, can't wait to see it kind of a thing. And the lead actor said, well, what if you get a brain tumor? I mean,
what if you get a brain tumor and you forget all this?
And I said, why couldn't you said, what if you get $1 million or something? Like, that's what you say?
Yeah.
But it was funny. I mean, we laugh about it now, but that is how it is. I mean, he really he's got a vision for it and just goes out to.
I have a lot of memory problems from the whole cancer thing. So it's
that was what part of it was like, are you going to remember what your thought, you know, your ideas were?
So if I would edit a piece, and because I didn't want to take the chance I'd screw it up, I'd save it as a new file. And so I have like 1 million files just to work with. Just so my brain can remember what I last worked on, or I can make sure I have it without the change in case I need to change something else. And so for a while we were having this problem where there's all these little statics in the movie, and we'd have a frame from before the static pop over to the other side of the static, so we have these frames show up that didn't belong there at all. It was something in the program in my computer, and even up until like yesterday we had a render we did, and we find a problem in it, and so we just had video problems nonstop.
I'd say, and that's what happens with, I mean, anything like that where it's, I mean, I think any project, honestly, but especially if it's a low budget film, you encounter these little things all throughout the whole process, from casting to then filming to then edit. I mean, it's like all these little things that happen, and you're like, okay, what next? But let's just hope this is it, kind of a thing. But I mean, when you're filming, especially, it's, you know, it's sounds that come up that are unwelcome sounds that, you know, you're trying to get the best audio, and you know, a plane goes by, and then you're like, how are there 10 planes in one, you know, in 5 minutes of time? What is happening? So, but it's fun. It's fun to look back and remember all the hard work and the dedication that goes into it.
Dude, lay down.
He's really active right now. I don't know why.
He wants his 15 minutes of fame.
No, he knows.
Oh, he just
I want to be part
you.
of it.
If you do another movie, you're gonna have to put him in it.
Probably
somewhere. Yeah.
He obviously likes the camera.
He does.
We had one of our dogs in that Zombie Dawn we did. Our dog Stuart. We had him just prior. He showed up in the movie as like a hellhound. He put fake blood on him, and he loved to wrestle like really rough. And so he wrestled with me and got to be on camera. He loved it. It was hilarious.
Yeah, he enjoyed every.
He just loved it.
Yeah.
One of the actors, so they got shot and their stomach was all opened up and stuff, and we ended up putting some like cottage.
Okay, there it goes. My signal is back now. So, sorry about that, folks watching at home. We're going to fix that in the editing. So, we are back now. All right, where were we before that happened?
Oh, wow. I don't know.
We could just start with some.
Oh, we were talking about the dog. We were talking about the dog in the movie.
Oh, yeah. And so he got to feast on the dead body.
Yeah, you said you put like cottage cheese.
The cheese, some Jello, and fake blood, and he thought that was just the best. So it was fun. You just have to find the right.
I love that when like dogs are in the movies like that because one of my favorite video games was Resident Evil.
Oh
And
yeah,
the zombie dogs in Resident Evil, and
Yeah,
even that was the one thing I think the movie got absolutely perfect were the dogs in the movie.
definitely. And
yeah,
in Resident Evil, that when the first time those zombie dogs come out, it's actually scary. Like it
Yeah,
was
I
like
love the
that
click,
well done.
the
Yeah,
clicking of their nails on the floor was just like the game.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It
So
was
Oh
good.
yeah.
I'm a Resident Evil fanatic. I literally have like I think I've got over 300 pieces of merchandise from Resident Evil. I've got props from the movie,
Very
whole
cool.
nine yards. That was my start into horror video
Oh,
games.
Yeah,
oh, I
nice.
loved Resident Evil when it came out. I
Well,
think we've had every version of it. I got that HD um, remake they did of it for
Hmm.
the Xbox One.
Oh yeah.
Um, that's fun. It's fun. It's fun to play. I haven't played that game in so long. Like when I started playing, like, how does this work? Like I didn't even play the game at first. Like
I've I've got the games still in plastics for systems I've never owned just to add them to my collection.
just
awesome,
to have them. That's great.
awesome.
So yeah, I didn't even know at one time I didn't even know there was a Resident Evil comic book series till I found them online one day. So I bought every issue and then went and looked and looked and looked until I found every other issue. So I had a set that I could read and a set that I just keep protected that I get out and dust once in a while.
That's great. Really cool.
But back to the movie. I know you said you did some short films. As far as the filming process, how big of a change was that going from short films to doing a feature length film?
That's a good question.
I barely remember. I'm curious. I can't. I'm trying to think about that. Well, kind of what I did is the first one was I did was like 30 minutes, and the
Mhm.
next one we did was like 15 or something like that, and then I made one that was like 60 minutes long. I was kind of testing out by doing
Mhm.
that, like what I think I can do, to
Mhm.
see what I could possibly do, and
I guess that one was probably
I
yeah,
I think then after the one I made it 60 minutes, I was like I could do this for an hour and a
right.
half. I could make an hour and a half long film, and that was kind of what mattered to me is whether I could actually do that on my own or not. And I really wasn't at that point. I was like, I definitely don't want anyone's help doing this because I want to learn everything. So if I make 3 tiny little movies, with I bought a camera and like if I can make 3 tiny little movies and learn something about how to make a movie, my own mistakes, sometime at some point I will make something that's good enough or decent enough, in
Mhm.
my opinion, what I thought was quality, and maybe at that point I'd have something that I could start moving up into the world of actually meeting some people who know how to make films, and I knew a few, but they didn't really help me do anything. Not that they wouldn't have. It's just I met them well into making this. Or I think I had one friend who he was working on a movie himself, and I wasn't wanting any help when I did. I just wanted to see what I could do, and if I just made total junk, then I was like, I know I can't do this, so I'd find another way.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of I'm a very creative person where I think of stuff all day long. I could just sit in a closet and I'd be total darkness, and I could make a billion stories in an hour. And my brain, I don't know if it's not. I was creative before, but after the brain injury, I definitely got more, I guess, like on fire to be
Mhm.
creative, or my brain just felt like it had to be.
Mhm.
And so I think that's why this Queen Demon character came
Mhm.
into the movie later on, and really changed the tone of what's there.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
it was supposed to be a lot more straightforward, and I really made it feel like it's kind of like its idea was it's for people to see this on. It's in a widescreen format right
Mhm.
now, but it was shot 1:3:1 because the idea was that looking at it from the point of like an old tube 4:3 TV, something like that.
Yeah.
So it was kind of meant to be watched in that way, I guess.
Mhm.
Um, but it works, the other way too. It's just I think it's more what it was meant to be,
Yeah.
and so I was kind of saw it as like this. It could, this little film it was left in the gutter somewhere, and you picked up and took home. You know, and I wanted it to feel like raw like that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and
so I knew I had to do that. You know.
Yeah, actually, I had I thought about it today, actually, on my drive home that I was wanting to ask you about. I really liked the way the movie looked. What kind of camera were you using? Do you remember what?
The Panasonic 100A. What's it called?
The DVX 100.
Yeah.
That's the same one that I bought. That's the same one that I had because about the time that you were talking, because you said this started in 2006.
2004.
2004. Okay.
About late 2002, and
yeah, because me and my wife got married in 2005, and that was about the same time that I was getting into some indie filmmaking and stuff like that. And that was the same camera. I went online and researched, and that was the camera I came up with. And when I was watching your movie, I thought, that reminds me so much of the stuff that I have shot.
Only thing is that you could change the lenses out, because that would have helped me a lot with being more creative. But it was like 24p for the images, like super high quality. I would research them and read up on them, and I was like, it was the best camera I could afford, and I knew I could run myself, and I was like, that's the one. There was a Canon, I think, that was out at the time that I was really interested in too. You could change lenses, but it didn't run in 24p, and so I definitely wanted something that ran at 24p, and I was like, it was kind of like one of the first, not the first cameras to do that, but for a consumer level, but to really, really actually it has that CMYK thing where it cancels out one of them every 3 frames or something like that. Every 3, is it frames? Yeah, there's only, it's like 20. It runs at 23.97, and so it's kind of confusing for me at first, but in editing mainly.
Yeah.
But the camera takes a really good image, and you're able to up-res it and have it look really good still.
Oh yeah, I was very pleased with the camera. Like I said, I just watching the movie, it just certain things I saw when looking at the movie, it just reminded me of the camera I had used. So that's why I was wanting to ask you.
That's cool.
And the guy we work with at the theater that up-reses our footage for us, is I'm not proficient in that area. He shot a movie using it, and so he was like, I can get you guys a really great looking image off this, and because he knows it and he's done it for a long time. I was like, okay, that's great. So what I have is what we shot, and what you've seen what we shot. We're hoping to have the final movie taken to him and have him up-res the whole thing to 1080 for us. Maybe even higher. I don't know what he can do, but he's really good at up-resing footage, so it looks really tight. I'm happy with the way the camera worked. It went through a lot. Honestly, it still kind of works.
Sadly, I sold mine a few years ago, and I haven't replaced it with another camera yet. I've got a couple Canons and a couple Nikons that film in 1080p. So we'll see how those go in the near future, because I've got a couple little short films I want to do soon. But oh yeah, I can't wait. I'm looking forward to that. But I also wanted to ask, in the movie, I don't want to give too much away about what some of the characters do, but I like the special effects. Did y'all do the special effects yourself, or did y'all have somebody doing the makeup, the blood, the teeth, the contacts?
I did all of it. Yeah. I again, starting with them zombies and when I was a kid stuff, I just always had done like makeup, and I don't know, always thought it was fun. Not really for like Halloween, but I'd go to the store and raid like there was a local store there that sold Halloween stuff, and I'd raid all the stuff I could, as much as I could afford with my allowance. And that would be my one time a year. I have no idea why I was able to do that, but because our family didn't really celebrate Halloween much. By the time I was probably 10, we didn't really celebrate it much at all, and so I would just get whatever I could.
Fake blood,
lots of fake blood.
Latex, fake blood, yeah.
So we made all the blood ourselves, and I think we might have used a few products, but most of it was to try to make ourselves. We'd have buckets and buckets and gallons of that stuff we mixed ourselves.
Peppermint oil under the eye for some tearing. Certain things like that. Yeah.
We just figured out like stuff as we went, you know.
And part of it too is, I mean, I'd say it's interesting. I'm thinking about when you said the difference between short films and feature films, and one of the main differences is that when you're doing a feature film, you really need a dedicated team of people for sure. I mean, the actors, they went through a lot of takes, a lot of special effects, makeup.
They
all that
did
kind of
pretty
stuff.
much.
But they stuck in it.
They did pretty much what I asked them to do, and I asked them, no one said don't, I won't, or anything.
I mean, we had some long days, but they
really
stuck through
lucked out in that department.
Yeah.
Because most of them had never been in a movie before. Some of them had, small ones, but so it was like they just kind of jumped in, did whatever was needed to do, and it's
nice because if you're needing to get different angles, and so it's multiple takes for each angle, and it's, quite a bit of.
And for my first movie, I decided I'm gonna do this. I'm just gonna shoot whatever I need to shoot and not worry about how many takes I did. And so they were willing to go through even up.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we did a lot of takes on some of these parts to get what I wanted.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they did whatever. They're cool about it.
And the thing that's great about multiple takes like that is then when you are in the editing process, you really have a nice pool to pick from. I mean, pick exactly how you want that scene to go, and that's nice. But a lot of this, I shouldn't say a lot of them, but there are some special effects that hit the cutting room floor that...
we did a lot. There's a lot. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff that I took out.
There's some real cool stuff.
But there's cool stuff that I took out, too, really cool stuff that I just wished I could keep in there, but it had no context, and not anymore. It's that's what I mean. I changed the story pretty drastically in the editing.
Yeah.
I made it a lot more personal, and I think it's actually a little cooler in a way. Kind of cool because I have another part of the story I'd like to tell at some point, and we have a backstory little animated thing I'm trying to put together to tell that, so it might make the movie a little more clear to some people on a certain end. It's kind of told through the Queen Demon, explaining the history of what went on before. So what you're seeing, there's some backstory content to it. It's all there. It's just meant to be ambiguous. Yeah. And maybe making that a special feature on the disc when we put it out. And I don't know, it's kind of cool. It's a little bigger than what you see, but I like this version so much better. It moves so quick, and it's good.
It's kind of like you were talking about the Resident Evil comic books. I mean, there's a lot of backstory and a lot of textures and characters that really could be an awesome graphic novel, and so it's.
That's another thing. When I first kind of started picturing it, I kind of saw it like a cartoon at first. But there's a much bigger story to stuff, and I think that all happened because I got sick. All of that stuff. It kind of had a little bit of that at the beginning, but overshooting it and getting sick, because I would change stuff while we were shooting. I would just change the point or what we were doing, because we had that scene in the field in the movie, with the two guys talking. That scene we had to shoot in 3 or 4 different locations, and then at the end of one of the days when things just didn't work, I just said, okay, I'm gonna shoot from this spot. It won't make sense at all. Actually, it does now because of the way I edited it. But it won't make sense at all. I just need to get this line from you. And so I've just changed the story big time by simplifying the whole scene down to okay, you're gonna step up. You're gonna say this is the spot, and you're going to read the journal. And then we'll go. And it is crazy, but I just needed something that connected parts, and I kind of thought of it on the fly, and they did it, and it works, and it actually works really well. And I think when we got one of our first reviews, that was one of the things he pointed out, said I thought was cool, in the review. I was it's just kind of funny because it's like we just kind of threw that together last
Yeah.
second. So it really changed like the story and how we shot things at that point. But I think then I realized this is not going to be my story exactly.
And I think that's what happens. I mean, you write, you have an idea. The idea then transforms when you write it, and then when you film it, it's like a whole new life takes on.
Especially after all that time and all the stuff I went through.
And then when you edit it, it becomes something totally different again. So
it didn't feel like at that point I could stay the same movie.
Yeah.
It was like, this is crazy how this has affected me, and feels like this is bigger than that for me. So I really wanted it to be personal at that point, and I don't know.
It feels so good to have it done, though. I mean, it just because it's been a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of work. I mean, he's put a lot, his whole self into it, and it's fun to be able to share it with people and to have you guys watch it and, they just kind of keep going with it. But,
we loved it. Amanda said it was probably the best independent film she's ever seen.
Whoa.
So, I think she told me that she watched the movie 5 times. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken. And I've seen it now twice. Because we watched the first version that y'all had sent us, and then y'all changed a little bit, and I think you might have shortened it just a little bit more or something. I know a few things changed, and then I watched it again through that, and I noticed something different each time I watch it.
That's cool.
Very cool. You will be watching not a different cut, but we had some more stuff we had to do to it in the last week or so. Just we kept having a lot of like pixelization spots we didn't want, and it was like figuring out how to get that out. The files we're working with are like 200 gigs, and they slow down everything. So it takes a while to get things done, and having a brain injury, I miss things a lot. So I've been thinking of going back and figuring out new ways to do things so I can make sure I get it done, and she helps me with everything, but we got a cut we really like. We got the effects the way we want them. And then I think after our friend upreses it for us, we'll have a file that like looks like what it should look like.
Oh yeah. I can't even. I've never shot anything like any kind of, like I said, I've done a couple short films, but I've never did any like feature length. I can't even imagine the rendering process and everything else. I mean, the stuff I have to do just for the podcast to get it on YouTube, it takes forever.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what we run into a lot, and
it's a lot of patience.
It's a lot of patience.
Yeah.
Like it takes like where we live, I think it takes like, this is how it is for everybody. It takes me like 7 hours to upload the movie to Vimeo, for example, if I want to share it with someone. It's just, so it's a lot of downtime. And for someone who's wanting to get their movie done, just get it done, do the out of my life, it's like a lot of waiting time in between. Sure, everything's right. Because like we have to render it down to a file of an AVI, and then we render that down to an MP4, and that's just so we can upload it.
Right.
Because the AVI ends up being 90 gigs, something like that.
Yeah.
So anyways, it's this whole waiting time thing, and getting back to it, just want to have it done. It's like I have to wait, and it's obnoxious.
Well, and I think too,
really
though, I mean,
obnoxious.
it's kind of like for your feature film that I think we'll get back to. I mean, when it's in you and it's something that you care about, you'll get back to it. You'll find a way to make it happen.
Well, y'all have actually inspired me to kind of do that, because I'm sitting here thinking the whole time, I worked so hard on this movie, and then now it's been this many years and I haven't got it done, and then everything you've been through, and I'll finish the film. I'm like, I suck. I'm a horrible person.
No, not at all. Not at all. Truly.
No.
I mean, a feature film, it's a lot. It's a lot, and it does take time, and it's, if you just don't...
I had no idea what I was getting into when I did it. I just,
for sure.
like, I'm going to schedule this and make it work and find people who are crazy enough to do it, and I don't know.
But I
didn't know any actors at the time when I did this.
And this
I met them all in the process.
Yeah, and this movie almost did not get finished. So, I mean, it wasn't a thing where it's like, it was so easy just to finish it. It almost didn't get finished. So it really ended up being a thing where it's like, we have to. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we just have to. You won't feel good if you can't just even get it finished just for us to see it, but it's fun to be able to share
once
it.
I got sick, it was like I started seeing all kinds of problems rising. Friends would take off, things like that, and I was like, "This is something I'm not gonna let cancer like take."
Mm-hmm.
Because it was like, I'm gonna finish this somehow, and I have no idea if it'll make sense, but I'm gonna finish this, and do my best with it because I was like determined that there had to be some like reason I went through all that and made a movie, and to get sick like that, it was like there must be something about it. I don't know, maybe in my story of doing it, and so I decided it wasn't just about the movie at that point. It was just the story of making it and actually finishing something. And I've had a lot of people tell me how inspiring that is to them.
No, like I said, I pulled out. I started going through all my notebooks because I've written so many movie scripts. I just like to write, and I mean, I've probably written 20 or 30 movie scripts that I've got just laying around in notepads because I never typed them on a computer. I just wrote them in a notebook. But it actually got me. I pulled out my old movie script for Undead Devotion, so that was the title of the movie. So yeah, I'm back looking at that again. So
that's awesome. I love that.
Y'all have inspired me to bring that back out.
I recently just started putting together from an old script I wrote a new script. I mean, it just kind of, it's a great way to do it, in my opinion. Write a bunch of ideas and combine them and see how they can fit in your story. Yeah. That's kind of what I did. I picked a bunch of different attributes of things I wanted to have in it. And even back when I first made it, that was kind of the idea. But I think that took place because of the brain injury again. So I don't think I was meant to be quite so fast paced before, but I like it that way. It really feels good to me. It was there were a lot longer pieces, and it's funny because I met a friend on Twitter, and him and I just started talking about filmmaking. He had made his name is Andre Becker at eatsandheat.com. If anybody's I guess. Anyway, Andre is from Canada, and he lives like a billion miles away from me. And I started talking, and he gave me so many ideas because I'd upload it to Vimeo, he'd watch it, and he'd talk to me on texting or Twitter and tell me what he thought of the cut. And he wouldn't like say anything specific, but he'd say things like, he's like he gave me a quote, you're really like making a movie or editing when you can cut your favorite shot out. And so I really started thinking about that, and I was like, he's like, until your favorite shot's laying on the cutting room floor. I think that's what it was. And I started thinking about that, and I was like, I want to see what that looks like, And so I started cutting and cutting, and then after that,
it was like, this is always going to be in the movie, and it was like, it works.
And it just kept, and the movie kept getting better and better, and it worked better for me. And then I realized I was looking at it kind of in a strange way. I think like I started looking at it, just what don't I like? What part of this don't I like? What doesn't work for me or move me forward? And I just would cut it, and I'd make sure that there were no plot holes, because there really aren't. Everything I want is in there in some way, and either in a line or it's all there. But so I would just cut whatever, as long as it didn't impede on the general story. And it was crazy. It just kept getting better and better and better and better. And I can tell I really learned editing for where I'm at.
And that's definitely the other piece of it. Like with your first feature film, you learn so much.
And it's mainly because of Andre.
Andre. Yes, thanks, Andre. But you learn so much in your first feature film. I mean, there's all kinds of things that it's like, I would do that different next time. That's for sure, But so then you do it.
Yeah, I read Bruce Campbell's "If Chins Could Kill," and it kind of made me realize I could make a movie. You know?
I've got that book on a bookshelf over somewhere. It's probably buried in the box. I've got so many books, but I've got that same book.
Audio book of his second book he wrote. I remember listening to that when I was sick, and I met him. He came to a bookstore in our town, and on my birthday, I can't remember when, but I met him, and sat down and got a picture with him, and I asked him to do the rock and roll symbol, and he didn't know how to do it. And I was like trying to show him. But it would, I mean, back then, I mean, I knew people who knew him and stuff, and I was like, did you get him to pop up in my movie somewhere? And that never happened. But I remember I texted him once. I emailed him once, and he emailed me back.
He's a great guy.
Yeah, he seems like an incredibly cool guy.
But it's like that though. Like with Evil Dead, I mean, they went for it.
You know?
I mean,
he got money for it, but he went for it.
It's a lot of.
So
hard
I was
work,
like, I'm gonna put whatever I have towards this, whatever I can do, and hope that I'm creative enough to figure it out, because I wasn't storyboarding it or anything like that. I just literally just went for it. I had no clue what I was gonna shoot each time. It just shot a movie.
A lot of my favorite movies, that's kind of the way they were. Like you were talking, the original Evil Dead. A lot of people just go straight to the second one, but the first one's my favorite. I just love the first one. And the original Last House on the Left. That was another one.
Oh, yeah. That's
Let's just get a group together.
A while ago. That's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
Mainly because of the fact it was made for such a low amount of money, and he really made a very creative movie.
It's still one of the best movies that I have seen for projecting emotion on the crowd. Because that scene with the two girls, it almost gives you just a sick feeling. I mean, it was shot so well.
Most of the stuff with the girls is kind of that way. He really, especially for that time period, he really went all out for that.
He did.
It's funny because when I think about like what makes a good movie, kind of a thing, and when people say, "Oh, this movie's so good," or "Oh, this movie's so bad," it's like, well, but was it effective? Like you watch a comedy that's like, well, it doesn't have like the best production value or anything, but did it make you laugh? Was it effective? And Last House on the Left, it's effective.
Oh yeah,
it is.
It does what it's.
It is. There's another indie film. I don't know if y'all have seen it or not, because it never went very far. I found it. I don't know where I found it. I found a DVD of it somewhere and watched it, and I just thought it was great. It was a comedy about zombies called Hide and Creep. Have you ever seen it? Highly recommend checking it out. It was like that. It was either shot in Georgia or here in North Carolina, and I'm not sure which state it was shot in exactly. It came out probably, I guess, about 10 years ago, but it's called Hide and Creep. Highly recommend it if y'all get a chance to see it, because it's like that. It's two brothers that decided to make a movie, and they just got everybody in their town to kind of help out with it.
Cool, that's awesome. Oh, he's going to grab some water.
Okay, that's fine. But highly recommend checking it out if you can find it. I don't even know where you can go about finding it, because I looked for it. It's not like on Netflix. It's not on Amazon Prime anywhere. But it is a really good indie film, and it works.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's like, did it do what it was supposed to do? And then
it does. It was funny when it wanted to be funny. It was more serious when it needed to be serious. And there was one shot in it. I love it. One of the characters he had left the house, and his two girls, the older daughter and the younger daughter, were at home during the whole zombie apocalypse. And when they finally get back to the house, they go running up to the yard, and there's dead zombies everywhere. They walk in the front door, there's dead zombies everywhere. And then the two daughters come out. Each of them one of them has a baseball bat, one has a machete, and they're like 10 and 6.
But
and they just killed all of the zombies.
I love it. That's awesome.
That one's, it just reminds me of I could just see that now. If I'm at work and the zombie apocalypse breaks out, I'm going to come home to dead zombies everywhere.
Man, that's so awesome.
But so I highly recommend checking that out.
That's awesome.
Where can you?
He's not sure, so we have to just kind of look for it.
I don't know where to find it, because I found it. I found it like in a DVD bin.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like I want to say. This shows how far back it was. I think it was at a Blockbuster movie store back when they used to do like the movies that had been sitting on the shelf for so long. They would sell them for like $4. Yeah, I think that's where I found it.
I used to raid all those places back then, looking for any gem I could find at all.
Yeah,
Occasionally some.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's interesting because nowadays it's like it was so nice. Well, it was nice to be able to like go and rent a movie. And
I know. I miss it.
Yeah, because now you either have to own it, which or you sometimes you can't even find it. Like kind of some older movies that it's like
We had to drive a town away to rent videotapes now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember.
yeah.
I remember back when like a VHS movie came out, like the first day of its release, it was like $50.
Yes.
I remember seeing Star Wars in our video store as a kid, and they wanted $100 for it.
Jeez.
Yeah, it
But
was.
VHS we've heard is making a comeback, so
In some small genre type stuff.
it's kind of funny. I mean, anyway.
Next time I'm going through my attic, I'll shoot y'all a message with a picture. I have got, I'm going to say over 1,000 VHS tapes.
Awesome.
And my DVD collection is sitting somewhere around 1,000 right now. And there's no telling how many I've just watched online that I've bought. So
Yeah. I love
it's insane. But talking about the video store is something, it brought back a memory. We used to have it was just a locally owned private video store. And they had, they liked horror movies a lot too. So they actually built a separate room inside the movie store and set it up like the Jason Voorhees shack. Like they built it out of old barn wood. They had a grave that said Jason Voorhees beside of it with an open coffin where he had risen from the grave. And when you walk in, they've had like black lights and cobwebs and everything else hanging down. And it was just the coolest thing. I would go every week and just go through there.
Dustin. There was a guy. I don't know him real well. His mother. One Halloween in my hometown, Colton, there's a guy who was a really good makeup artist. I did a haunted house out there on Halloween, and it was crazy because like my little hometown got like covered in the paper, like on the front page of our arts and entertainment magazine. I was like so shocked, and so like all these people were standing in the elementary school park like grounds, waiting to get into this guy's property because it was right next to the elementary school I went to. So Halloween out there was a interesting thing, small town, and it seemed even creepier.
It's funny
to me.
At the theater we met at for Halloween, the one of the ushers would dress up as Mike Myers, and they when the people would come in and give him, he was just standing there frozen. People would hand him their ticket for the movie, and he'd like lurch forward kind of a thing, and people freaked out. And I mean, nowadays I can totally see that just being recorded on YouTube, but it was just like, I love that kind of stuff. So it was fun.
Yeah. Michael Myers is my favorite, or The Shape. I still call him by the original name. That was my favorite horror movie, it's my favorite movie of all time, is the original Halloween.
Very
Cool movie.
That's
Man, the music, everything.
Aside from Jaws, when I was a little kid, I think that was the movie that like really freaked me out as a kid the most when I saw it. I remember as a little kid, my mother, why they took me to see Jaws, I do not know. But from that point on, going to the beach was a whole different thing. But Halloween kind of had a similar effect on me, especially the music.
Oh, yeah.
The music is just classic. And actually, one of our administrators, he hasn't had a chance to get on our podcast yet, so y'all haven't really seen him. His name's Zach Kelly. He is a tattoo artist, actually, in Michigan. And him and a buddy just recently got into mask making. So they're making all kinds of masks and everything else, and I can't wait for them to get started on that because I hope to get one of the masks.
That's cool.
That's really cool.
Oh, yeah. But back real quick, because we kind of got sidetracked there a little bit. We can get back to your movie now rather than talking about everybody else's movies. But I was going to ask...
Movie fans.
Oh yeah. I could literally sit here and talk for the rest of the night on movies. So I have to kind of hold back, kind of like you cutting your favorite parts off leaving them on the editing room floor. I have to try to watch myself. So.
Yeah, sure.
But one thing I wanted to ask about is because even on the 5-minute film that I did, the issues you run into are insane. Did y'all run into any major issues during the filming process that were memorable? Aside from the health issues.
Aside from vacancy. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there were lots and lots and
Well,
lots of them. We just kind of learned to keep
one of the big
changing
one,
it or doing
yeah.
whatever we had to do.
And one of the big one was he had a whole part cast out, ready to go, first day filming and everything, and the actor totally froze and was like, couldn't do it, wasn't saying the lines, was just
Barked out the window.
yeah.
And
so it was like, well, we
he
gotta.
just wasn't even. He didn't even hit any lines, so he was kind of. I don't know if he was nervous, but I had to step in and play Eli then, and I really didn't want to at all. I played the.
I thought
killer.
you did a good job.
Oh,
Yeah, well, it was. I don't know. I don't have a problem being on camera. It's that or playing a part. It's just I would
This just
always
wasn't the
end up.
plan.
I would always end up being like the killer or something like that, and just I didn't want to do that anymore. I was like, I really wanted to sit back and focus on making this, and then it kind of just happened, and someone needed to do the part, so I stepped in.
Yeah. So that was kind of major, and then just a lot of little things. I mean, there's a lot of fighting sound things and bees and chickens one day. It was like, I mean,
did you say chickens?
Chickens. I mean, and it's thing about the chickens is I swear we went and like location scouted everything. So we were like, okay, yeah, this kind of here, this looks good, all that kind of stuff. I don't remember chickens when we were location scouting, so it was like this like surprise all of a sudden.
But mainly it was when we shot it. Local old house.
Right.
One of our Flo Francis, the chick that played Beth, let us use her house to do like a lot of the makeup, and her neighbor had some property and just went out there and was like, yep, this will work. I didn't have I just need a forest, I need a little bit of a path, and this was fine.
So I don't know if we were sleeping or what, but it was like it was quiet. It was like this will be great because it is quiet and everything, and then all of a sudden it was chickens and planes and bees.
We had a little while while it sounded okay, and then we'd have jets go over, and I'd be like, this isn't gonna work, and I thought I was gonna have to do tons of Foley to make any of it work, and and it was like, I don't want to even attempt that. At first I was thinking we'd have to dub a lot of the movie, and but I was like, look, it's not so bad actually. I managed to EQ it and kind of because I was in a band, I know a lot about studio stuff, so I was able to think out how I could get rid of some of the noises that were in it, and we got it pretty clean. We got it actually very clean. There's only a few small things I hear in our audio track, like buzzes or hisses. I managed to get most of it out.
The gas station scene is
that gas station scene was interesting because there were log trucks going by all day long there. It's a logging town, so it's just log trucks going by, cars, log trucks, people stopping by asking us what movie we're making, things like that, and wanting to be in it, and I'm not gonna do that, man. And just like a small town, so they were shocked that someone was making a movie there. And so with the log trucks and all that, I managed in this cut I did to make that audio
seemed like
silent,
there weren't any log trucks.
because I didn't want to have music in it or anything, and I got it sounding pretty good for. I
mean, to hear the raw footage and hear how it came,
I was very concerned I just wouldn't even be able to use it at all.
The log too, it's like you could hear them before you see them, so it's like, oh great, here comes another one, and then
cut.
Yeah, it took a while for the sound to really like echo off, and so it's like,
so it
okay,
took
we're
a lot
ready.
of mixing and figuring out how can I do this, and there's a lot of other things in it I did that were just kind of in the moment fixes for things. My tricks. There's probably somebody else out there who does it, but I'm not going to tell anybody what I did. But I had to. There's a lot of subtle backmasking throughout the entire thing. Nothing no messages or anything. It's not like that. But there's small amounts of reverse tracks and things like that, kind of littered throughout it.
Some blending and
there's a lot in there that probably you wouldn't even perceive, but it's.
I was going to say, do I need to watch it backwards to catch anything or anything like that?
You'll probably hear some things backwards that are just a dialogue backwards or something backwards, but there is a lot of reverse audio in it. sometimes I use it to patch parts too, where it just kind of extended the sound just in reverse, and you can tell, and it kind of ended up working really well with how I shot it and what I
Yeah, I
wanted
thought
it
it
to be.
sounded
And
great.
Oh, cool.
yeah, so
So,
it's a very like every track, every little piece is like something I did for some reason to like, because we just had a lot of problems, but it wasn't just fixing problems. I was trying to make it feel like, I don't know, digital, like not all where you think it is, you know, to make it feel like another place. And so like a lot of the scenes have a scraping sound that runs through them to make them more, I don't know. I didn't want there to be too much peace in it like that, I guess.
Kind of
That's kind of
off-putting in
how
some certain
my
ways.
brain feels most of the time. So I didn't want it to feel like really like peaceful. I wanted to keep flowing, keep moving, and so there'd be textures and sounds all over. So it's not really like, in places, it's not really like real, you know, but in other places it is. So we're just working with sound. I've never been able to do all that before. It was a lot of fun.
The thing that's funny too, I mean, when you talk about encountering things while filming and things like that, I mean, it's just kind of what he goes through though, because it's like, I mean, and I think all independent movies go through those kinds of things, but when he was going through brain cancer, I mean, like halfway through his appendix just decides, oh, I need to come out now. And it's like, oh, geez. So, I mean, but it's like that, where it's just like, things like that just kind of, okay, well, we'll roll with this and we'll get through this and that
keep
kind
pushing
of
on.
Yeah, just keep pushing on, for sure.
All right. And had y'all, I was going to ask, because you ended up with getting diagnosed with cancer during the process of the movie, had y'all already got it completely filmed before you were diagnosed? Was this in the post-production?
Mostly post production. I shot one scene in recovery. The Queen Demon stuff I shot in recovery.
Okay, yeah, that was the one of the things I was going to ask about next, because that was, you got all of that while you were in treatment and recovery, right?
Right.
Yeah, I think it was really the chemo. When I was in chemo, we'd have like a weekend. We'd be at the hospital, and she'd be there with me. But I think that's when I started thinking up that character, just to kind of. It was a way for me to kind of put the crap I was going through, kind of into something. And so I think she kind of came from the dark period of doing chemo and just being stuck in the hospital, and just kind of miserable. And so as you just kind of cope and deal with it, and so I think she came out of all that.
And then, and it's the transformation too of the actor, because she's this teeny, beautiful model, girl, and it's just so. But to take that, beautiful person,
it was
and
fun.
transform
I
her.
wanted to do something kind of like do a bunch of makeup or try something out. So we just kind of faked our way through. I drew a picture during rehearsal one day. I drew a picture of her, and so we got this kind of outlined. And I finished it off into a drawing of what the Queen was supposed to look like, and we just kind of winged it all the way through the makeup, trying to make it look as close to it. And it came out really close. It, like, shocked how close we were able to get it to what we drew. But we basically spent the whole day, all day long, 4 or 5 hours putting her makeup on. Then we shot from like 11 at night to like 3 or 4 in the morning, maybe longer.
It was later.
I think it was actually daylight by the time we stopped. So we shot her all night long for like 12 hours, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
And 10, 12 hours. And she was cool about the whole thing.
Yeah. It was cool because she really transformed. I mean,
And you got to keep in mind, all these people, they were not getting paid for doing this. And so they were really working hard. Nina Tomitsa's her name. She's German. Anyway, she's still a German model I met, and she just wanted to do the part. And I was like, this will be a lot of fun. And she was super easy to work with, and she put up with all that for all that time. And Chrissy would be wiping her off or be touching her makeup every time we did a take of it. And most of them we were able to get on the first take for the most part. She really, I was kind of surprised she really came in and she's nothing like that at all. I mean, she really did an outstanding job of being this creature,
For sure.
And anyway, she just worked incredibly hard on that. And and we rehearsed, worked out. She speaks English, but there's certain words she would like kind of get hung up on, and we worked and worked and worked on that months before doing this. So we put in a lot of work on just making that part, and it was all in recovery, and got it in 2011. And
I'd say throughout the whole movie, I mean, the motto.
There's a lot more of her than's in the movie too.
Yeah, her lines. Yeah, I'd say one of the biggest things that we kept repeating throughout the whole process of the movie is that pain is temporary, but film is forever. Because there were a lot of times where it's like, we got to power through this. We got to power through, and it was great because it's worth it.
It was trying because there were times where I would just be like, I want to destroy this thing, and I don't want to even do it anymore. And Chrissy would hide the tapes from me, so I couldn't do it.
I'm glad she did.
So it was like a huge team effort just to keep it alive.
Yeah.
I mean, there were many times I was just like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to finish it. It's just being negative, and I think I start again. That's about when I started realizing that there's more to it than just a horror movie, like a little horror movie I made. There's more to it for me, and it's a bigger thing than that. So I just had to finish it, and
I think,
worked and worked and worked ever since 2012. We showed our rough cut, and funny because it was our rough cut, and I was like, it's not exactly what I want to show, but I just wanted to get it going, and so I've kind of been through that a lot. One of the reviews I got, I actually had uploaded the wrong cut of the movie because I have so many cuts. I uploaded the wrong one, so it's not that much different, but it's different enough that I felt really bad about it, and I was like, even the cut I gave you guys isn't my final cut. It's not I mean, cut wise, shot to shot, it's the same. There's a few effects we were wanting to put on it that we didn't get to do. So it's literally been working up to this last minute. Now we finally have a cut that is exactly what we want, and now I actually feel like, well, I can really see what I made, because through all that I couldn't tell what I'd made, Yeah.
And then I mean, from here.
But I really think it's a cool movie, and
yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's fun because it's something that we both enjoy talking about, and we both enjoy kind of. I enjoy seeing other people's just reactions to it, and just seeing if what they think about it and stuff like that. It's fun. My
first movie I made for hardly any money, and and no real experience to speak of, and pretty much on my own. And I have a hard time even seeing that when I watch it, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Awesome.
I'll text her. I made a movie. It really hits me. I made a movie.
Yeah.
It's like
yes, it's a big deal. It's
this
very cool.
This kid from Colton, Oregon. I made a movie,
Yeah.
And back when I was a kid, just the idea of that just wouldn't even seem possible.
And like I said, with everything that happened during the making of it, I mean, to finish it and get it completely done and everything, I mean, that's quite an accomplishment right there.
Yeah. And again, I've had a hard time really seeing that, but now that I'm not having to work on it, I'm not in there on it, I can really see that, and that's the part about it that I think is so cool for me, is that I made a movie. I went through all that, and I still finished that thing.
And then so it's sort of, more projects on the horizon, and whatever.
Awesome.
It's exciting.
I did want to ask. I think Amanda had told me about more of the origin of the name, but where did the name come from?
Well, I'm I used to be I love the X-Files, but I used to watch the X-Files nonstop. And there's an episode in 5th season.
I think so.
I think it's 5th season. It's called Bad Blood.
12.
It's called Bad Blood, and it's a little vampire story. And somewhere in there, Mulder is talking to Scully and naming off ancient vampire names, saying vampires have been around with us for a long time in different forms, or something like that. And he said Ekimmu, and I still have a hard time pronouncing it sometimes. Ekimmu. He says that name, and I just heard it, and so it was like at the time I knew I googled it. It's like, what's this mean? It's like I heard him say it, and it was referring to vampires, and then I read the origin history of vampires. It's a Babylonian legend of a person who is murdered and their body's never found it's not buried properly, they'll come back as an evil ghoul or spirit that will like torment you and follow you around, following like any random person around just to mess with them. And so from that idea, I put other ideas into it. But like when the girls when they there's complicated piece of that, but the girls are kind of a mishmash of things, and honestly, all the people kind of are. And so I really wanted it to make it like this constant switching thing where you didn't know who was who. I don't know. I think it works now, but when I wrote it, I guess I pictured like they're not really the girls. I guess they're kind of like a spirit of them, but it's really this queen demon who's using them in a way to do what she wants to do. And in a way, the girls were like originally. I think I wanted all of the girls, like 2 girls at the end, to look more like the queen demon, and that would have been like really hard.
Yeah.
So I kind of switched that to like, let's put them in these dresses, that kind of thing.
I'm not going to give away as far as which one of the actors and everything or how anything happened, but it kind of back to the special effects. One of my favorite scenes in the entire movie are them running through the woods with the contacts in, with the teeth. I love that scene so much.
That might give me that idea, but I was like, when I was a little kid, there was this movie. I do not know what it was to this day, but there was this creature running around chasing these people with his gaping mouth open and these fangs and there's blood all over him, and I don't remember even what it was. I was so little. I was probably maybe 1 or 2, and I remember seeing this, and I was like, that was freaky. I want you guys to run down this whole stretch over and over and just have your mouths open the whole time. And I just thought it was cool. It reminded me of that scene, and that's why we did that. It wasn't written to be that way. It's just I was like out there and like just run with your mouth open.
Oh yeah, it's the stuff at night though. You don't want to see that behind you.
Yeah, and like I said, just the way they looked and the running like that, kind of zigzagging back and forth and everything. Like I said, that was one of my favorite scenes in the entire movie, and I thought the way they looked, the makeup, I don't think it could have been more perfect.
Awesome.
So huge props to that, because that's actually one of all the I've been watching a lot of independent films, and I loved it. So
Awesome.
Oh, cool.
That's very cool.
Well, that's what's funny about that is that I'm so glad they were willing to kind of be imaginative and get into that, because I didn't like coach them on that or direct them on that. I was expecting them to know what to do, and
they sold it.
and they did it,
Yeah.
and they did it. All the scenes where they had to be creature like that, they did it really well, and especially Krista like really poured it on in some spots, and I mean they both did, but she was a lot of fun to work with because she would literally do anything you asked her to do.
Yeah, she was
Anything.
She
So
was
it
just
real easy to work with.
dedicated and would take after take after take after take. So and it was a lot of running. So
I think all my actors have been waiting to see this, especially Brian, but the guy that played Hank. But but I think all of them have been really anxious to see what comes up, what comes of it. I think maybe some of them wonder if anything ever will. And it's been such a long time.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those things too where it's like for a lot of time it was it's coming soon. Yep, it's coming soon. And I mean, we meant it. Like,
I really thought we'd be like done with it, but we just didn't have a good computer. It's good enough to do what we're doing. It'll do it if I can work at a certain pace. But I mean, I've been working on this every single day since I got back on my feet and was able to walk again. And I'm excited to be done with it.
Yeah, I'm sure, and like I said, I'm glad to see the progress and everything moving forward. I think we covered a lot of the movie without getting too much in depth. Was there anything else you wanted to add, or do you think we covered everything pretty much?
I don't know if there's anything. Well, I don't know.
Because if you add any more, I don't think there. It's going to be many surprises. So I'm kind of worried about saying too much.
No worries.
That's my problem when talking about a movie.
Yeah. I mean, watching it, it's in and of itself is an experience because of just visually and the sound and everything. But I mean, it started out just being Ekimmu, either way.
Well, we pronounced it Ekimmu for a long
Yeah,
time.
for a long time we just said Ekimmu, kind of easier to say. And then he added the Deadlust with the Queen Demon as the addition there. So,
and I didn't know like if I should drop Ekimmu because some people didn't know about it back in 2004, and I didn't want to completely lose that. So we considered first dropping Ekimmu from it, just calling it the Deadlust. Then I decided that the meaning of Ekimmu, I think it means that which has been snatched away. It still felt like it worked then, because the Deadlust is like, it's not hell, but it's like a place where it's like a place of misery, like hell. So the idea was that, that idea of the story. So that which has been snatched away to this nasty place, in that way.
Are y'all planning on submitting to any film festivals?
Hoping to, yeah. We're working on it right now, trying to compile them and start getting ready to get it out. But until we have a final cut, like which we do now, good.
yes, thank goodness.
Until we had that, we just didn't want to, bother until we knew for sure.
Yeah, I mean festivals and kind of whatever else from there. So yeah.
Awesome, because we're gonna actually we've got press passes to a few festivals coming up in September and October, so maybe we'll get to see y'all at them. So that would be awesome. My mind just went blank what I was getting ready to say. Completely lost it. But yeah, one of the ones that we hope to be at is actually the New Orleans Film Festival. That's coming up in September. Then we got a couple other conventions we're going to cover, so really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And I know there's nothing final because you just now got the final cut and anything, but do you have a time frame of when maybe the movie might get released, or is that still in too far ahead?
We're going to start with festivals for now and probably keep doing those. Keep doing them throughout the next year until we've covered everything we want to hit. But I mean, I just want to get people seeing it. I just get people to see it. That's really what really matters right now. So I kind of I'll let people watch it just to see it. But I made a movie. I don't know what's going to happen with it. I hope we can find a distributor for it at some point. It would be cool to do that. But I just want people to see it.
Yeah.
I want people to watch it.
It would be awesome for it to be on disc and have it in hand. That would be pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
We are thinking about putting out a very small private run of our own DVDs or Blu-rays, just to give to people or let people have a copy because they've been waiting so long.
Well, definitely keep us in mind on that because I would love one. So, is there? I know you're working on this. Still got a lot of work to do. Is there any other projects or anything you're thinking about?
Like anything beyond this, like that would mean, or
yeah.
Well, kind of. Again, I've been working on this for a long time, so I'm anxious to take a little break from the whole thing. But
rest a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when he says break, he doesn't mean.
Yeah, I mean like a few
typical
months.
Break.
A few months, maybe not even that much.
Probably not even that much.
Maybe a month.
Yeah.
Maybe a week.
Yeah.
Just a break.
As soon as you realize you get bored, I don't have a movie.
Yeah.
I know him, and his break won't be very long.
I need to figure out how to get this backstory little vid done. I need an artist that can help me with that because I'm not a good enough artist to do that. And so we had Oh,
I was gonna say, well, putting this on Facebook and Twitter and everything else, maybe somebody will contact you that's an artist.
Cool.
So.
It's a little. I mean, I get that it's a little detailed, and so all the artists I've asked about it, they just don't seem to. Once they get into it, it's like cool, but they just don't have the time to do it. And I understand they're working on a little movie and they have no clue if it'll be worth their time or not. So I'm just looking for someone who would love just to do it.
Yeah.
Just to do it for fun, and it's nothing like too complicated. I need even. It's like, but it will piece together some things I think are kind of important for the movie. I thought about doing it writing it as like a pamphlet or a book. I don't know. I guess when I made it, I'm not trying to like replace stuff I took out, but to me there was like I saw it as multiple media type of a thing where it could be a book or comic book or a movie, how they all would kind of work together to tell a bigger story.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, even a book, that would be awesome. I love
Yeah.
reading. So.
so I do a lot more things with this, but I'm also working on a new story that I think will be a lot of fun to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really know. I'm gonna take a break, whatever that is for me, and make something else. If it's all on my own again, I'll give it a shot, do what I can. I probably will make a short film on my own, but I'm hoping I'll find people who would want to help me, or make another film at some point, because after you do this, like, I don't know if I'll make another movie or not, but I sure am planning on it, hoping for it.
Well, the way Twitter is and the way Twitter has helped us out, I think if you look around, you'll find some help. So,
I mean,
Twitter has been amazing for us.
It's us too. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
It's
I mean, if it wasn't for Twitter, we wouldn't be talking right now. So.
Yeah. I've
really,
met so many people on there.
It's great.
That I'm just like, I mean, like, so many to me is like 4 or 5 people I've really met that I've been able to talk to and connect with, and it's like all of them are really nice, really easy to talk to. Most of them don't act like they don't want to talk to me. So it's like I'll just chit chat with people, and
that's part of what's so great about the
and they're always very helpful.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think that what I've noticed is that the horror community wants to support projects. They are fans. They want to support. I mean, that's how we feel too.
Yeah.
When we see, a movie that pops up and they're like, "Hey, we're trying to get this off the ground." Awesome. It's like, we appreciate that. We love that, because an original story, an original idea like that deserves support.
There's movies I've been able to watch that I love watching what people make.
Yeah.
It's like, so it's a lot of movies I've gotten to watch because, I've been on there, and found all these movies.
Yeah.
And that was one of the cool things for us, is because we've actually, y'all let us screen your movie. We got to screen the movie, The Black Tape, which I'm getting ready to write a review on that one. That's a really good movie if y'all get a chance to see it. It's I think they've already submitted it to some film festivals, but they're on Twitter. It's called The Black Tape. It's a very interesting movie.
Maybe they might be following me, or I might be following them. I'm pretty sure I've seen it. Sorry, with my head, I can't remember who's following me, who's not. I talk to certain people, but names are really difficult for me.
Yeah, that's cool.
Happens a lot. But if I think hard, I can sometimes remember them.
There you go. All right. Well, that's pretty much everything about the movie there. So, wow, we hit 1 hour and 23 minutes. This is going to be a full podcast.
It was fun talking to you.
Oh, yeah. And like I said, I'm going to close out everything here and say our goodbyes, but y'all just hang around with us for just a second.
Yep.
But thank y'all for being on. I really appreciate it. I hope everybody watching at home is going to enjoy it. But thank y'all.
Cool,
yeah,
thank
you, Josh. Appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. And y'all have a wonderful night.
Too.
Maybe we'll have you back sometime soon.
Sounds good. Say hi to the team for us, too.
I definitely will. Thank you.
I'm sorry I couldn't be on. Missed them.
Yeah.
I will do. Thank you.
Thanks, Josh.